All right, so we're diving into a book that's basically like, if you've ever had that feeling of what if, this is it. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. We're going to go like chapter by chapter.
Okay.
Explore this whole idea of a personal legend.
Yeah.
And what it actually means to chase your dreams, even if you've never even picked up the book.
Yeah, it's amazing how a story about like a shepherd searching for treasure in the desert can connect with so many people from all walks of life, you know?
Yeah.
There's just like a timeless quality to the themes that keeps readers like coming back for more.
Totally. So we hear about bucket lists and dream jobs all the time, right? But The Alchemist kind of digs deeper with this whole idea of a personal legend. It's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, I feel like.
Yeah.
What are we really talking about here?
It's not just about, you know, like ticking off accomplishments or anything. It's more about like uncovering a unique path that like truly calls to you. Yeah.
On a soul level.
Okay.
Coelho suggests that everyone has one.
Okay.
Like this calling that's intertwined with like who they are at their core.
Yeah. So right away we meet Santiago.
Yes.
This shepherd who's drawn to adventure.
Yeah.
And he can't shake this like fleeting encounter with a girl.
Right.
And it reminds me of those like what ifs that kind of linger in the back of your mind, you know?
Absolutely. And that's actually where his journey kicks off. He crosses paths with some like really intriguing characters. You know, there's like a fortune-telling woman, a wise old king named Melchizedek.
Right.
And they kind of like nudge him towards this personal legend.
Okay.
Which seems to involve this recurring dream about hidden treasure.
And this whole treasure thing, it's not just about like striking it rich, right?
Right.
The book uses it as this symbol for something way bigger.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of it more as like that deep fulfillment that comes from pursuing your true purpose.
Okay.
There's this like fascinating parallel with alchemy in the book.
This idea of like transforming metal into gold.
Right.
And Coelho presents it as like each element fulfilling its own personal legend.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book also talks about this thing called the soul of the world.
Yes.
What is that?
So imagine like this universal energy that connects everything, like a kind of cosmic web.
Okay.
Coelho suggests that when you're pursuing your personal legend, you're not just chasing like personal gain or anything. You're aligning yourself with this larger force.
Yeah.
You're like tapping into the flow of the universe. It's like each of our individual journeys contributes to something much grander.
That's a powerful thought. But Santiago definitely like wrestles with fear and doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Along the way. I mean, who doesn't when they're chasing a dream?
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Right.
And the book tackles that head on. It reminds us that fear is a natural part of growth, but it shouldn't, you know, paralyze us. And there's this like really vivid scene where Santiago's at his most afraid and he learns to turn himself into the wind.
What?
It's like this beautiful metaphor for overcoming fear by surrendering to the unknown, becoming one with it instead of resisting it.
Okay, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
So he's guided by these like omens, these signs that appear along the way.
Yeah.
So is Coelho saying we should all just like start looking for signs everywhere?
I think it's more about just like being open to the idea that coincidences might not be so coincidental after all.
Okay.
The book encourages us to like pay attention to those gut feelings, those moments of serendipity, and consider them as potential like guideposts on our journey.
Right.
They might be the universe's way of like nudging us in the right direction.
So it's not about becoming like superstitious.
Yeah.
It's more about being more like attuned to the world around us.
Yes, exactly.
More like receptive to those subtle cues.
Precisely, yeah. It's about recognizing that there might be a deeper meaning behind these like seemingly random events.
Okay.
Even getting robbed, you know?
Right.
Which you think would throw Santiago completely off course.
Yeah.
Ends up playing a really crucial role.
Wow.
In his journey.
Okay.
It's as if Coelho is saying that every experience, even the challenging ones, holds a valuable lesson.
Okay.
If we're just open to learning from it.
So it's about like shifting our perspective.
Yes.
Seeing those challenges not as like roadblocks, but as detours that might actually lead us closer to,
Exactly.
where we're supposed to be.
And speaking of detours, remember when Santiago falls head over heels for Fatima?
Right.
He's so tempted to just abandon his whole quest
Totally.
to stay with her.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the relationship between, love and purpose.
Yeah.
Can you really have both?
That's something I think a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
What does the Alchemist have to say about that?
Well, it suggests that they don't have to be mutually exclusive,
Okay.
Remember, Fatima actually encourages Santiago to continue his journey.
Right.
Her love becomes a source of strength for him, not a distraction.
Okay.
It's this beautiful reminder that sometimes the people who truly love us are the ones who, push us to chase our dreams.
Right.
Even if it means, being apart for a while.
So love can actually be a driving force.
Totally.
Propelling us towards our personal legend.
Absolutely.
Instead of holding us back. That's a really empowering message.
Absolutely. And speaking of powerful moments, let's talk about that ending.
Oh, yeah.
Santiago finally finds the treasure. But it's not what he or the reader, for that matter, expects at all.
Right. It turns out to be buried back where he started.
Literally.
Talk about a plot twist.
Right.
It's like this huge aha moment where you realize the real treasure was the journey itself.
Exactly.
All that growth and self-discovery he experienced along the way.
Precisely. It's such a brilliant way of illustrating that sometimes what we're searching for is already within us.
Right.
The journey is about uncovering it.
Okay.
Not chasing some external reward.
Right.
And let's not forget about those guys who beat up Santiago at the end.
Oh, yeah, Mike.
They represent all the missed opportunities, all the dreams left unfulfilled because of fear.
Wow. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
It's like Coelho is saying, don't get so fixated on the destination that you miss the beauty of the journey and the person you're becoming along the way.
Yes.
There's so much to be gained from the process itself.
You said it. And it's so interesting how Coelho uses the seemingly simple act of shepherding.
Right.
To symbolize this idea of, blindly following a path without truly living.
Okay.
Remember how Santiago observes his sheep? And he notes how they lack the capacity for a personal legend. They're content just grazing wherever he leads them.
You're right. He even says, they don't even yearn for anything more.
Yeah.
They just exist in this state of, blind following.
Exactly.
Which is a pretty powerful analogy for how we can sometimes, get stuck in routines.
Really?
Just following the crowd. And we forget to ask ourselves,
yes,
what is my unique path?
Yeah.
What truly resonates with me?
It's a question we should all ask ourselves more often. And speaking of powerful ideas, The Alchemist keeps coming back to this concept of maktub.
Which I mean?
It means it is written.
Okay.
This underlying belief that the universe has a plan.
Right.
And that everything happens for a reason.
Like a predetermined destiny kind of thing.
Yes, but it's not about passively accepting fate.
Right.
It's more about recognizing that our actions have consequences and that we play an active role in shaping our own destiny. It's this delicate balance between trusting the journey, but also actively participating in creating it.
So it's about recognizing the flow of life.
Yeah.
But also taking ownership.
Exactly.
Of our choices and our actions within that flow.
Exactly. And that takes courage, especially when you're staring down fear and uncertainty.
Right.
The book doesn't sugarcoat those moments of doubt.
Right.
It encourages us to push through them. Remember Santiago's reflection, when I wanted to give up, it was then I learned most.
Man, that is such a powerful reminder.
It is.
Our toughest challenges often become our greatest teachers.
Absolutely. And it ties into this idea that hardship isn't something to be avoided,
right,
but rather a catalyst for growth. Remember that quote from Coelho himself where he says, "The secret of life is to fall 7 times and to get up 8.
It's he's not saying don't fall. He's saying when you fall,
right,
get back up, because that's the whole point.
Yeah. Embrace the falls, the setbacks,
Yeah.
because they're all part of the journey.
Yeah.
And it's in those moments of getting back up, of choosing to keep going,
right,
that we discover, our true strength and resilience.
Exactly. And maybe that's the core message of The Alchemist, right?
Yeah.
It's not this fairy tale.
Right.
Where everything just magically falls into place.
It's a call to action.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that each of us
yeah.
has a personal legend waiting to be uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
And the journey, with all of its unexpected twists and turns, is where the real magic happens.
It's about, like, being present for the whole ride.
Yeah.
Not just, like, fixated on the destination. What resonated with you the most?
It's funny. It's that constant emphasis on, like, listening to your heart.
Totally.
Which sounds so simple, right?
Right.
But in the midst of all the noise of, like, everyday life, it's so easy to lose sight.
Totally.
Of that inner compass.
Absolutely. And, like, The Alchemist starts.
Yeah.
With Santiago grappling with that. This, like, chance encounter.
Yeah.
With this girl that sparks this what if he can't ignore.
Right. It's that, like, lingering question.
Yeah.
That tiny spark of curiosity that sets his whole journey in motion.
Wow.
It's like Coelho is suggesting that even the smallest what if can be the starting point of something extraordinary.
Yeah.
If we're brave enough to follow it.
It makes you think about all those, like, missed connections.
Right.
Roads not taken.
Totally.
In our own lives.
Yeah.
What if our personal legend is, like, woven into those, like, seemingly insignificant moments, the ones that we might, like, easily dismiss?
That's a powerful thought to sit with, isn't it?
It really is.
What if our true calling
Yeah.
isn't something we need to, like, chase down,
Right.
but rather something that's been whispering to us all along,
Totally.
waiting for us to finally tune in and listen?
And maybe that's, like, the real magic of The Alchemist.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, hand us all the answers,
Right.
but it sparks that sense of wonder, that invitation to, like, look inward
Yeah.
and ask ourselves, what if?
Exactly.
It reminds us that our own personal legends are out there,
Yeah.
waiting to be discovered.
Beautifully said. And perhaps that's the first step on anyone's journey.
Yeah.
That willingness to ask the question.
Right.
To embrace the possibility.
Yeah.
And to start listening to the whispers of your own heart.